Welcome, fans, to the first edition of Dragon's Den Live. We're about to talk about CM Punk and his career. It seems that people were split between everybody wanting CM Punk to go to the WWE and whether he's still in AEW. But the last couple of months, I'm going to go over a story with you that seemed to come up between wrestlers and CM Punk, wrestlers who I will name in a few minutes. But first, I want to go back to after CM Punk left the WWE. He was out of the wrestling business for 7 years. 7 years is a long time, and everybody thought he would never come back. But along comes AEW. And AEW resurrected his career. Of course, his first showing was in Chicago. In Chicago, Sweet fans, I was sorry about that. I was trying to move something over for you so you could hear. I'm not completely sure whether you heard that or not, but I put an interview on. Uh, Let me go over some things with you. Tony Khan is 40 years old. He owns part of AEW, and his father owns the other half. His father also owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars aren't a very good team in the NFL, but they're worth billions of dollars on the market. Tony Khan is 40 years old, and he seems kind of young to be running a business like this with wrestlers who are very hardcore, very smart. Um, CM Punk comes along, and Tony Khan is just tantalized by him. He sets up his first match in Chicago, which sells out. Absolutely would have just destroyed the WWE on SmackDown that Friday night in ratings when CM Punk came back. And CM Punk promoted Darby Allin in his very first match, and they had a pay per view with him and Darby Allin. Since that time, things had gone pretty well for CM Punk until he ran into MJF. Um, MJF seemed to hit a nerve because MJF is better on the microphone than most people. Being in wrestling, being a good microphone artist is really 60 or 70% of being a successful wrestler. Being able to communicate with the fans and make them laugh. Uh, Familiar, I'll give you LA Knight. I'll give you The Rock. Uh, I'll give you Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, the Heartbreak Kid. These wrestlers were all very handy with a microphone. Randy Orton was pretty handy with it. The ones that weren't handy with a microphone, you might notice they weren't quite as successful as the ones, and staying as long. They had staying power. In other words, what I'm saying. Um, they also were good with microphones, but CM Punk, like at some point with the WWE, got frustrated. Was gone for 7 years, like I said. He now runs into wrestlers who, in my opinion, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, um, John Moxley, formerly of, can't think of their names, they were the Squad in WWE. He was part of the, uh, got so many different things running through my head, Span, I can't just tap it on my head. But he was with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. And he left and went to AEW when he was unhappy with like I said, he wasn't that great with a microphone either. So he didn't get where he wanted to get after they had all left. The Riot Squad, I think they called them. We all know where Roman Reigns ended up, and we all know where Seth frickin' Rollins hanged up. And see, Seth frickin' Rollins, another wrestler with a great microphone background. At the same time, he goes down to AEW to promote the young talent down there. And rumors start swirling about him. And they get to CM Punk. And after All Out 2022, he went off on the questions finally when Tony Khan had went and bought Ring of Honor to combine with AEW, which seemed like what he was doing was buying up the smaller organizations to make them bigger. I think that CM Punk had a problem with Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor. After Ring of Honor, it seemed that Punk's attitude went a little higher. Well, I cannot think of the name of the wrestler that called him out on it in the ring. And you could see by the look on CM Punk's face, he wasn't having fun anymore. Well, after the matches were over at All Out in 2022, there was something in the background after the match, behind the curtain, the things us fans don't see, between Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. There was an actual fist fight after the match, so bad that it caught publicity, and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega were immediately suspended. Now, let me go over Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, in my opinion, is a great wrestler for AEW. In the WWE, he's not even the Intercontinental Champion. He may be just a Saturday afternoon wrestler that comes out and gets slammed by Omos. But he in AEW, he's a top wrestler. The Young Bucks, I don't think the WWE would even look at them. They've had many matches. I've watched them. They're a good young tag team. But these wrestlers down there, this is where they're going to stay with and end their careers. As long as CM Punk is there, that's taking away from them. So they don't want CM Punk there. So there's a locker room brawl between these three and a few others, and it gets broke up. And Tony Khan has to do something immediately the following night, couple nights on Dynamite. He met with CM Punk the following Tuesday. And that was the last time anybody's really heard from Punk or seen him. He said that he stripped Punk of the belt that night due to an injury. And he suspended the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. They're just coming back now for wrestling off of the suspension. So these are the things that are going on in AEW right now. And the thing about it is when these wrestlers come out, if you go and look on YouTube and you see Tony Khan just sits there and let them say whatever they want. He doesn't stop them. He doesn't tell them they're going overboard. He doesn't seem to be in control of his own proteges, the people that he's put in there, especially since when MJF won the title the other night and just walked in the room and F-bombed the world, and Tony Khan just sat there and let him do it. Tony Khan's got to get a backbone or he's going to lose control of this company, friends. I'm telling you right now, within a year, this company will lose money and drop. Going up isn't going to be just signing WWE talent doesn't guarantee the fact that you're going to move up and be up with them. You've got 130 men on a roster, men and women, for a show that's on one show a week that's only 3 hours long. How can you fit all those people in? You can't. This is destined for disaster. And this is what I try to tell AEW fans. I have a very good friend who's an AEW fan. This when it came out, he was so excited. I tried to tell him, I said, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. Not up against a monster like the WWE. The WWE is a monster. Anybody familiar with anime is like One Punch Man. They just one punch you and you're out. When they get rid of their wrestlers, you certainly don't hear anything from them. They have them locked down. Nothing like this would get out with the WWE. So I'm not really sure whether CM Punk is going to go to the WWE. I, as a fan, hope he does because I would like to see him in the ring with Roman Reigns. I believe it would be millions and millions of dollars made for WrestleMania. I believe this Saturday, his music will go off and he will go on to the Royal Rumble and win it. Excuse me, fans. I'm getting a drink here, a little dry throat, you know. Sometimes you got to wet the old carrot. I believe that he will win the Royal Rumble, go on to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Now, does his ego say he has to win the title? Because Roman Reigns certainly isn't ready to give up the title. There are many other things going on. War Games is coming up. I'd like to know your thoughts on them. The one I'm looking forward to is War Games on a Saturday night at 9:00. I'm looking forward to the women's match. And Becky Lynch is going to be the fifth woman. It's obvious to me. I don't know that if they're going to SmackDown on a Friday night, of course, what other woman would there be? I don't see Charlotte Flair joining that team coming off an injury and going into War Games, which for those of you who aren't familiar with War Games, War Games is a 2-cage, 2-ring where each athlete is released into the match, called into the match every 5 minutes. And the match does not officially start until all 5 participants are in the ring. This is originally an Eric Bischoff idea. And Eric Bischoff came up with the Elimination Chamber off too. The guy was a terrible, terrible person running wrestling, but he did have some great ideas for some great matches. He changed the way matches are today, and the WWE has finally got off the original Survivor Series. We had to put up with every year of an elimination of 5 people. War Games is everything goes. Anything under the ring, in the ring, on the ring, you can be thrown into the cage until it's just mayhem. It's mayhem everywhere. And it's the perfect place for Bianca Belair and her team versus Bayley and her team. And it gives exposure to these younger wrestlers. Some time ago, Vince McMahon retired and left the hands to Triple H. And Triple H has been running the company now for about 3 months. That's when things started to turn around. The WWE started bringing back talent. They brought back Christopher Cross. They brought back Braun Strowman. They brought back many other talents down there, and they're making a storyline, which was missing. Any of you true wrestling fans know that the storylines were missing with the WWE. And they brought back, Finn Balor they had as just a standby. Now Finn Balor's the leader of, can't think of the name of that group either, the Judgment Day. They're going up against the Clique, which is AJ Styles and his crew. Should be an interesting War Games there. One of the underrated matches that'll be at War Games is Seth Rollins versus Austin Theory. Austin Theory lost his chance at winning with the belt. He made a mistake and got in the ring when Bobby Lashley was near the ring and got totally destroyed. And Abe Rollins had enough time to recover and win the U.S. heavyweight title. I don't believe Austin Theory is going to defeat Rollins this Saturday night, but it's a new Austin Theory. Triple H is programming this young man to be the future of the WWE, a future champion. Before he was kind of a joke, coming to the ring and getting punched out when they had the clash at the castle. He was going to cash in his belt, more of a clown to more of a wrestler. Shawn Michaels is running NXT. NXT is actually a training ground for the WWE talent. They bring them up. Well, Shawn Michaels is bringing them along so fast they can't keep up. Shawn Michaels, remember these guys were running DX back in the day. These were our favorite wrestlers. These are the guys that this is going to lead back to CM Punk at some point. These are the guys that were leading and making us all go to wrestling. Wrestling was so popular in the 90s, early 2000s, until they made the mistake of buying WCW. But that's for another night. Since then, the WWE and Vince McMahon seen wrestling a whole different way. He thought it was just you had your muscle guys, and it was clowning around and doing crazy things. Uh, Triple H's NXT, if you remember, is more of a fighting NXT, an exciting uh, guys doing just crazy things in their somersaults and uh, just action. And me, I just want to start chanting NXT, NXT, because you just never knew what they were going to do next. He's trying to turn the WWE to this level, and I think he's going to do it. I really do. This year, he's setting this WrestleMania up to be one of the most popular WrestleManias in the last 10 years. That's me as the Dragon Sword saying that. I also believe there's going to be some heel changes and some face changes coming. I believe that Alexa Bliss this Saturday night is going to turn on her team. It's going to cost Bianca Belair the win. It's time for someone to drop the belt off of Bianca Belair. And I'd like you to message me at Dragon Sword 1240 on Twitter, or message me at Dragon's Cave at yahoo.com and tell me whether you want Bianca Belair to hold on to the belt or not hold on to the belt. As soon as I buy a webcam, people, I will have this all for you live and in person. This is more of a test run for the Dragon's Den. I'm hoping, I'm coming through and you're listening to it and enjoying it. But I'm one of the ones that I think Bianca Belair's held the belt long enough. I kind of loved it the way Becky Lynch stole it off of her, but she got it back. I'd like to know who you think in the women's division is worthy of taking this belt from her. I believe it's Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is just unbelievable. Did you see her body slam one of the Clicks biggest guys? This guy was 6'8", 250 pounds, and she body slammed him like he was a marshmallow. She is a very tough and strong girl. It's time they started pushing these kind of people, these kind of athletes. They've done Nikki Cross go back to her crazy ways. Would they have her dressed up as a costume and a superhero? These are things that little things. If you look at Triple H is changing, and they're building a storyline in the background. The next big microphone guy you're going to hear of, and it was amazing they did this, is they brought LA Knight out to face Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is a great microphone guy. He's gotten over on the WWE, yet they can't decide whether they want him to be a heel or a face. And that's what's taken so long, is because he hasn't decided whether he wants to stay a heel or a face. I like Bray Wyatt as a heel. I've always liked the heels. I think the heels get away with more. I know a lot of you fans out there won't like that comment, but the heels get away with more. If you go all the way back to Ric Flair in the WCW days, Ric Flair would get his bell kicked around the ring like you wouldn't believe, but he'd always find a way to win. He always found a way to win. In closing, fans, I just like to say that if you want to get a hold of me, send a message to @DragonSword1240 on Twitter. That's @DragonSword 1240 on Twitter. If you want to message me, dragonscave@yahoo.com. That's dragonscave@yahoo.com. And if you want to send something to help us out and get this webcam and everything rolling, go to PayPal, type in dragonswordscave@yahoo.com and donate what you can. 32 cents, a quarter, every little bit helps. My goal is to get a good webcam and a broadcast unit so that I can actually see things better on this board than I am now. Like I said, I don't even know if you're hearing me, but I'm on here talking right now. I would like to thank any of you or all of you that are listening right now. It's been an interesting experience, a long time coming. And the next time, like I said, we'll do 1 hour shows or 2 hour shows, depending upon how many fans we have. And we're working on getting a phone number for you to call in live. So allow me to say it's been an honor to talk to you. Let me know what you think about CM Punk, what you think about Tony Khan, what you think about the entire situation. Let me know who you think's going to win War Games on Saturday night. And tomorrow, look for me to download my video of my NFL picks for the weekend. In fact, I'll download them later on tonight because the Giants are playing the Cowboys and the Bills are playing the Lions as usual. I think those are pretty obvious picks, fans, but we'll get into the NFL on another night. Until then, my fans, always remember the Dragon Sword likes you, and he wants to say, in the immortal words of Jim Rome, Dragon Sword out. Good evening, fans, and welcome to Dragon's Den. I'm a little late getting on where I said 9:45. But I'm here now. If there's anyone out there listening, let me know. As we're talking sports, we're talking WWE, we're talking AEW, we're talking NFL.